Hey everyone, it's Shobit. I hope you're doing well, having a wonderful day. We're coming down to the end of the year, and so a lot of things are about to happen. You're about to go into new 2021, which, as I speak to a lot of people, they are so hopeful that this new year for them is different and better in many, many ways as compared to what 2020 was, as compared to what the pandemic ridden, no travel, work from home, not enough jobs year was. And, a lot of the things people say, they are circumstance driven. But what I've also found is for the product managers who I find most successful, they're less driven by circumstances and more by their own internal compass with things that are within their control that leads to success. And one common pattern as I coach product managers, I find is that, you know, um, we start working through a problem. Maybe it's a problem where they're not able to manage their stakeholders really well, or somebody's disrupting and not giving them enough opportunities, or they're stuck at a level and cannot get promoted. There's all these different problems that they come across. Now, when that happens, very often people think it's a matter of the how. The what do I do in this situation? What's the best practice? What's the best way that I go and solve it? But as I coach them and I ask them even simple questions such as, what would you do? What can you do? And they start to generate options, they start to solve it themselves. They find answers relatively quickly, in the sense of very often we know what is the right thing to be done, but because we are so wrapped up in our ego and in our head, we don't have the courage to actually go and do those things. We feel too worried, too concerned about what could go wrong, and don't focus enough on what could go right. And very often, this thing called courage, which not a lot of people talk about in terms of jobs and careers and succeeding in your career, it is so fundamentally important. And I wanted to talk through 5 particular circumstances where these come in over and over again. So I hope you're ready to if you're watching this video live or watching this later and taking notes, take some notes, because you might see these same situations come up in your career over and over again. And I have the benefit of coaching several of my clients and getting them out of that mental state where they're blocked. Even if they know how to do something, they're just blocked, to going to some place where, okay, now they also have the confidence to go and do it, the courage to go do it. So here are the 5 things. And let's begin with the first one. The first one is calling out people. Calling out people. What do I mean by calling out people? Right? Calling out people is really about when you know that somebody is in the wrong, when they are not behaving properly, when they're looking at things from too much of a self-centered manner, when they are looking for their own personal gain rather than a company's gain, or they're taking too small a perspective, or they're looking at things only in one particular way. That's where calling out people is absolutely necessary. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you don't like calling out people, you better get used to it if you want to be a good product manager and a good leader. It is part of your job. It is not only part of the engineering manager's job. It is part of your job to make sure the people are called out so that their perspective changes and you can deliver what's the right product. And by the way, some of those cases might be like calling out your own manager, for example. When your manager is not looking out for your career development. Very often, I've seen this case where the manager has no plan for your career development. Are you calling them out? Are you telling them that, look, what you have given me is not going to get me to the next level. So while I want to contribute to the company, while I want to do whatever I can to serve my customers, my team, I also got to look out for myself. And so call them out to have a clear plan for you to get to the next level. That's another place where you need to call out. So that was courage, place number 1, calling people out. Place where courage comes in again and again is clarifying things, right? So what do I mean by clarifying things? So very often what happens is that everybody seems to be working towards certain issue or a way of solving the customer's problems, but there seems to be some disconnect, and you can feel this energy. When the energy is not flowing, when people are not on the same page. And it takes courage at that point in time to step in as a product manager and say, stop. I feel we're not aligned. Let's go back to the basics. What is the customer problem we are solving? Why is it important to us? What are the circumstances in which this problem occurs? Those very basic things that at that point, I've seen people just feel embarrassed. I see them feel like, if I ask that question right now, I'll appear stupid. But that's not the case. Very often, the same question is on everyone's minds. They just don't have had the courage to ask. And if you as a product manager don't go and drive that 100% clarity in what needs to be done, you'll pay for it later. So the courage at that moment on clarifying things really pays off in the long term. And by the way, there's, you could come up with, what are the right questions to ask? What are the best practices? But the thing that matters most is, did you have the courage at that point to go and clarify the thing so that everyone was on the same page? So we've covered 2 so far: calling out people and clarifying. Next, let's go for the third one, which is probably my favorite: challenging people. Challenging people. So what do I mean by challenging people? It's not in the sense of, hey, I'm going to challenge you to a fight. That's not the goal here. Challenging people is about raising their level of ambition. It's when you as a product manager and a leader goes and says, can we do better than this? Is this the best that I can do? Is this the best that we can do? Would we look back at this opportunity, this thing that we've done, and would we feel proud of what we've achieved? Let me ask you, how many times have you gone and asked that question of your team? Because the fact is that if you have not challenged them, there is so much potential that is staying there unlocked, because people feel that they are being good enough and they don't need to stretch things to the next level. So challenging people is all about raising their level of ambition. And you as a product manager know what the next level of ambition is. You know what the product could be to truly delight customers. You know that you could be even more aggressive in delivering, but you haven't set that level of expectations. And by the way, your engineering counterpart might or might not be on the same page. They might be too much in the zone of concern for people without worrying about the results. And you as a product manager, while you should be concerned about people in your team, you need to worry about results first and foremost. Okay? So that was the first one, challenging people. Now, so far we've covered 3. To sum up, what we've covered so far is calling out people when they're doing something that's not in the interest of the team, clarifying things, challenging people. We're going to go to number 4. There's 5 total. 4 is about making decisions. So this is where courage comes in. It's easy to look at a decision that you need to make, worry about what happens if you go wrong, and just not make it. Say, we're going to get some more data. we're going to do more research and we're going to keep going. We are not ready to make the decision. At the same time, the team is being held up, right? Your team can't actually execute to the full level because they don't have clarity. Time is running by. Your competitors are catching up. And you already have enough information, 40 to 60% of the information to make a decision. So just make the damn decision. Have the courage to make the damn decision when you have enough data to be directionally correct. Doesn't mean you won't ever be wrong. But very often, the decisions that we make, they are type 2. And if you're familiar with type 1 versus type 2, type 1 is irreversible decisions, right? Or not really irreversible, but very hard to reverse. I've launched a major new product and spent millions of dollars in marketing campaign. You better be sure that the product was good enough. Then
can I use the big TV?
You heard my son now. Anyway, that was a quick decision from my part, right? Letting him use the TV. But sorry, the point is that you got to be able to make those decisions right there and then. Otherwise, you appear weak as a leader, right? You appear as someone who just is letting things slide by and not really doing their job. But you got to have the courage to say, look, I know we don't have all the data. I know somebody can probably prove me wrong, but we're going to make this a damn decision now. This is what we're doing. And here's how when we will revisit this decision if we find all these data points. Let's go. Some of the biggest, highlights of my PM career has been when a team came and said to me, or somebody from the team came and said to me, thank you for making that decision. Thank you for giving me clarity on what needs to be done. It's okay if we need to revisit it, but I would rather go do something rather than just, be in this limbo state. So that's where you need courage, is to make those decisions. And then the last place where people need that courage. I'll come to it after I summarize what I've mentioned so far. So far we've done calling out people, clarifying, challenging people, raising their ambition, making decisions. Last but not least is for your own career, asking for the next level. Having that regular discussion on what do I need to do to prove that I am already performing at the next level. If I'm a product manager, already performing at the senior product management level. If I'm a senior PM, already performing at the group PM level. Whatever it is, I need to get there. Am I doing the right things? Am I doing the things right? Am I showing the right skills? Have I built the right relationships so that people will support me when I go up for that promotion? Am I delivering the right customer results? And is my portfolio structured right so that I can demonstrate those? Because, so often PMs are stuck at a particular place in their career. They can't get to the next place. And the reason is because they don't have a platform to grow on, right? In the sense of the mix of their projects, they just don't line up. It's just not really getting them somewhere. So do you have courage to ask for the next level, to regularly get clarity on what you need to get to the next level, and make sure your manager, everyone else is accountable to helping you get there? Okay. So to sum up, 5 places where most of the times I hear from people, hey, Shobit, I don't know how to do this. I'm missing best practices. Can you tell me about it? That is the sort of the know-how. But where people often miss is the character side, where do you have the courage to actually go and challenge and do the right things, even when you know what the right thing is to be done. And the 5 places where I see these come up over and over again are: 1, calling out people, raising their level of ambition. Calling out people when things are going wrong, when they're not doing the right thing for the company, the product, the customers. Clarifying things, driving clarity, and sometimes appearing stupid yourself because you're the person who asks all these basic questions. challenging people and raising the level of ambition, making decisions when you don't have all the data, but you have enough to make a pretty good decision, and then asking for the next level in your own career. Now, all these things, they're easy to look at it from a third party perspective, very hard when you're in the midst of things. And so that's where having an awesome coach, mentor, a program is really helpful. And you probably already know that, but I'll say again, 2021 is here. This is your opportunity to make sure you have the best help in your corner, because when you do, then you do all these things super fast. You start to accelerate in your career. You really figure out what is that next level of success for you. And you know how to set up if you're ready to take that next step. It's a big commitment. So if you're ready, if you've decided that, hey, Shobit, this is the point in time where I'm going to go and excel and get my dream job, get to that next place, only then, only when you are committed, set up time with me. I'll post a link at the bottom on how you exactly do that. Again, I might not take all the calls. You'll have to do a follow-on qualification survey to make sure we're the right fit to chat. And then I'll do a free session with you to really figure out what is the step-by-step approach of helping you get to the next level in your career. And I'll post the link below the video. Till then, everyone, wish you a very, very happy new year, happy 2021. And I'll talk to you very soon in the new year. Take care.